All right, so buckle up for this one. What if I told you there's a theory, right, that links almost every single U.S. president to a cursed English king?
A cursed king.
Yeah, we're talking about a lineage that supposedly goes way back, centuries even, all the way to King John.
King John, wow, okay. Not exactly known for being a saint, that one.
Exactly. The guy makes Richard the Lionheart look like an angel. But that's where we're diving into today, this whole cursed bloodline thing.
Right, I'm intrigued. Where do we even start with something like that?
Well, we're going to try to unravel it, see if there's any actual historical basis for this, or if it's just one of those crazy what-if scenarios.
Sounds right up our alley.
So imagine it, right? 1216, King John's on his deathbed. And this guy, not exactly beloved, ruthless, hungry for power, the whole shebang. And even back then, rumors were already swirling. Demonic pacts, a cursed family line, that sort of thing. People were terrified of him.
I mean, you don't get that kind of reputation for nothing. Even powerful people, religious figures, they were afraid of this guy.
Absolutely. Now, fast forward to today. Some genealogists uncover something absolutely wild. Apparently, you can trace the ancestry of most, if not all, U.S. presidents back to European royalty.
Okay, that's pretty interesting in itself. I can see where this is going.
Right. And guess who happens to be right there at the very top of that family tree?
Let me guess. King John.
Bingo. It's crazy, right?
It's definitely a connection, but is it just a family tree or something more?
Well, that's the million-dollar question, isn't it? Our source material for this deep dive throws out a pretty wild theory. What if it's not just about shared blood? What if King John's supposed curse, right? What if it's been echoing down through time?
It's influencing these presidents?
Exactly. Maybe even playing a part in their downfalls.
Okay, now you're just trying to freak me out.
Think about it. Lincoln getting assassinated, all the tragedies surrounding the Kennedys, even Reagan surviving that assassination attempt.
I mean, those are all undeniably tragic events.
Right. But when you start looking at them through the lens of this bloodline, this curse,
yeah,
it just makes you wonder,
It's definitely a thought-provoking theory. But before we get too carried away, maybe we should pump the brakes a bit and consider the historical context. We've talked about King John's ruthlessness, but what does that actually mean in the context of his time? He defied the Pope, leading to England's excommunication, and was accused of unbelievable cruelty. There were stories about him murdering his own nephew, for crying out loud.
Yeah, that's not exactly a good look.
Even by the standards of that era, his actions were considered extreme. And let's not forget, accusing someone of being in league with the devil, that was practically a go-to tactic back then, especially for discrediting rulers.
Sort of like a medieval smear campaign.
Exactly. Look at Joan of Arc, for instance. Her accusers used the same playbook. They claimed she was possessed by demons trying to undermine her because her military victories were inconvenient for them, threatened their power.
Wow. So it's like history's full of these stories, these connections that make you wonder if there's something more to them.
Right, and it plays into our nature, as humans, we're naturally drawn to these grand narratives, these hidden connections. We try to find patterns, make sense of the chaos, even if those patterns aren't really there, it's in our DNA.
Like with this whole presidential genealogy thing, is it really that crazy that so many presidents have royal ancestry?
That's a great point. We are talking about centuries of history, countless generations. Over that much time, those family lines branch out like crazy, especially in European nobility. They intermarried constantly, strategic alliances, keeping the power consolidated. You know the drill. So statistically speaking, the odds of finding a connection aren't as slim as you might think.
It's like that saying, it's a small world. Except in this case, it's a small, potentially cursed family tree.
Exactly.
So here we are. We've got this king with a seriously bad reputation, a theory about a curse, and a whole bunch of presidents who met some, let's say, unfortunate ends. What really stands out to you in all of this?
For me, I think it's that question of power. Let's just say, hypothetically, that this bloodline, this supposed curse, it's real. It makes you wonder, doesn't it? What if the real curse is power itself? The way it can corrupt even the best intentions, turn good people ruthless. That's a theme that's been playing out for centuries, right? No matter who sits on the throne, who occupies the Oval Office.
So maybe that's the real connection between King John and all these presidents.
Maybe. What do you think?
That's something for everyone to ponder. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. It's been a wild ride. And until next time, keep those thinking caps on, folks.